And then we will move to the item that was left from Linwood Central Heathcote, which is item 11, the Orbiter Public Transport Route. So this is item 11. Okay, so are there any questions on this? Yanni? And I'm not sure who we're asking questions to. Dave? All right, well, should we... Are you likely to get people here reasonably quickly, or should we come back to this? What we might do is wait till we've got the staff in the room and come back to this. So that would then see us move on to Spreydon-Cashmere. So item 14, we'll come back to item 11. Item 14, Spreydon-Cashmere Community Board Report to Council. So Carolyn, good morning, welcome to the table.
Thank you.
What's been happening in Spreydon-Cashmere?
And thank you for putting me up the list as well, because I've got an engagement this afternoon and I'm grateful for staff's flexibility.
Thank you.
Well, the first item up is Worsley's Road, which you've heard quite a lot about. It is a frightening intersection right now, especially when the logging trucks are coming through. We will be really interested in the local response. We don't think that it'll be without controversy, and the intersection is going to cost $2 million, so it is a big effort. And the consultation with that is on the 14th, at the same time as a consultation is being held about Rapeki Track, which is a much used and beloved track. You can crash into the All Blacks on a Sunday morning if you're of a mind. A much used and beloved track to the Port Hills and up to the top to the Summit Road, and it's increasingly difficult to get access, especially for local residents in terms of other people wanting to park there. So those 2 days, we've got those two consultations. We've also got another consultation out before we move on to Vista, on Vista Place, where it's proposed that we stop external traffic from between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. Because of the disruption to the peace and calm of the residents of Vista Place at the top of Huntsbury Hill. It's a difficult thing to do because it's contrary to the principles of human rights in terms of the right to travel and the right to movement, and it's always got a high threshold, so it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that one as well. Hoonhay Community Centre, I've passed around a short accountability statement from the people at Hoonhay Community Centre. We're almost at the stage where the centre will be allocated to an area of council and will be leased by a committee that's now established and that is in charge of the community centre. You'll remember this was the children's library that was proposed for disposal and has been rescued and is now fulfilling a function as a small centre in the middle of Hoonhay. We requested some money to provide plumbing out of the annual plan in order to be able to provide hospitality facilities at the centre. We don't think we were successful, though it's difficult to identify, but we still hope to be able to proceed to put in some sink and tea making facilities. Moving on with Tennyson Street, the residents have called for safer crossings. There's 4 traffic islands on Tennyson Street, which seems a bit over the top. But what the local residents are saying, that each traffic island is too small to take a person with a couple of kids, especially if they're on cycles and boards. This is an issue that has been raised frequently, and you'll see some letters from children from Beckenham School in some of the things that we've received in terms of the local neighbourhood's action on this issue. We've also got a proposal before us from the Baha'i from the Baha'i community wanting to plant some trees and have a carved po in the Ernley Clark Reserve, where they have had many volunteers over the last year doing weeding and planting. And that's with council now, and we look forward to receiving a response from council. And the board, we hope that it is, and we hope that the council will consider it favourably. We had our community service awards. There's 2 photographs there. Yesterday they had photographs of me with them, but they were to the detriment of the people who got their community awards. So I asked that they be excluded. This is Bernard and Louise, who are long-standing volunteers in our community at Rowley. They
Sorry, gone past.
No, that's fine. And if we go on, the next one is Michael Poulet, who won the Youth Community Award, who is a giant of a man, figuratively and literally, and a young man, and who has been a volunteer since he was I think, prior to being a teenager. And he's been a volunteer in our community consistently over all these years, and his latest project, along with a lot of other young people from the Rowley is lights at the basketball courts on Hoonhay Park. And finally, I'd like to, the board has asked me to write to Chris Gregory, Head of Traffic Engineering, and local staff, thanking them both for the restoration of traffic engineering support in our ward. We've got a terrific traffic engineer. We've had him now for about 6 months. He's caught us up after a year's absence from having an active traffic engineer. We are grateful to the City Council. We're grateful to Chris Gregory and his staff, and we're grateful to our local staff in the restoration of those facilities. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you. Are there any questions on the report? Tim, yeah.
Just with the Worsley Hoonhay, the development in the Worsley Valley, there's a new, it's a 230 kilometres.
300.
So the pressure on that intersection is only gaining, so it's just as a heads up that it's not just coping with the current, it's the future as well.
Oh, it's going to be extraordinary. Yeah. And Phil, sorry.
And no, just one other comment. Like the first Thursday's project in Sydenham, which you've written about, my understanding is besides the Spreydon-Cashmere board contributing to that, because Sydenham was previously in the board area, that in fact the Linwood Central Heathcote board has also contributed. Yeah. So it's a good example of where there's sort of a near boundary, boards are working together.
You're talking about the Christchurch South Gardens?
No, I'm talking about the first Thursday's project.
Oh yes, no, the first Thursday, that's terrific. Yes. I forgot to mention it, sorry Phil.
Great, thank you. So we have a resolution in front of us to receive the report. Tim, you're happy to move. Phil, happy to second. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. And thank